morning, everyone. So my name is Steve Miranda. I lead the development group at Oracle that builds our business applications. What I'm going to try to do for you today is really answer three simple questions, or really give you perspective to three questions. The first is, in terms of business applications especially, why cloud? And now I know many of you in the audience are probably thinking, well, we're either on our way to cloud, or yes, I know I got to move to cloud. But I really want to give you some perspective towards what we think are the key business benefits you should look to, you should challenge us, and you should hope to achieve with your organization in terms of why cloud. The second is, we feel very strongly that our business applications in the cloud are the strongest to give you the best benefit toward all those. And I'm going to try to explain to you not only why we feel that way, give you different options on how to start to achieve those business benefits, and probably most importantly, have you hear from a couple of our customers who are well along the way in that journey, so you can have some comparison to see how actual customers are doing it. And the third is really the imperative on why now. Either starting now or giving you some perspective on why we feel confident that we could run your business successfully now, and that we have the skills and the tools together with our partners to allow you to unlock those business benefits very, very quickly. So let me start off with the first one and just talk about why cloud. And the speakers who preceded me talked about this a little bit already. But essentially what I see happening is the convergence of two areas. One, increasing speed, or was talked about earlier, really beyond linear speed in terms of technology advancements. So we'll talk about IoT, we'll talk about machine learning and AI, we'll talk about blockchain capabilities, we'll talk about a host of other technical advancements. And the key point to keep in mind is not so much what we're talking about today, but the enablement that the cloud puts us in a position to not only address these advancements today, but be ready for the increasing speed of technology components going forward. The second is probably what I see as the bigger shift, and what I hear from customers every day, which is the business innovations or the business speed of change. And I hear this expressed either from companies who are looking to disrupt an industry, companies who are looking to prevent from being disrupted in an industry, companies who feel this pressure from customers, from us as consumers, to deliver more faster, or customers like the hospital we saw earlier who are, and to use their words, razor-thin margins and need to take advantage of these capabilities to continue to deliver their service to their constituents. And so that speed of business change and that innovation is the new norm that all of us experience today. And we're really at a tipping point when you combine the combination of technology change and the speed at which it's increasing, business change and the speed at which it's increasing. What I hear over and over again is from our customers, the capabilities that we provide in business applications can't be the impediment, cannot be your blocker. If you need to go from a product company to a service company, you can't have a question being, can your ERP system support it? If you need to dramatically change your price list and offer new ways of paying, you can't be limited by lack of capability of blockchain or lack of integration with suppliers. If you need to reach new markets and new customers, you can't have digital or mobile be an impediment to your movement. Your business systems need to act and react at the speed in which your business environment and that technology environment exists today. And so let me give you a comparison and looking at what our world looks like in providing many of you, because most of you are either existing Oracle customers, either now or in the past, on our traditional on-premise products. And what you see on the left here is basically not only Oracle, but the entire industry's model of the way it was before SaaS. We would do the best job we possibly could of delivering a release. We would then be partners with many of you on how to enhance that release and make it better. However, the unfortunate reality was you took that upgrade maybe once every 5 years, sometimes every 7 years, sometimes every 10 years. And then we tried to do our best to learn from that capability. But when we went around and we had customer advisory boards and met with customers at meetings like this, there were two flaws. The first flaw was, in some cases, that data was 10 years old. So for us to act and react very quickly, it was almost by definition non-existent. The second one is that every customer really had a fundamentally different implementation, different customizations, different extensions, et cetera, such that every customer we looked at was really a unique island unto itself and made it very, very difficult for us to learn and improve. SaaS and the cloud model is all about speed. And the speed of change and enablement, for us today, we issue quarterly updates to our releases. Now that has multiple benefits. First, when we issue a new feature, 100% of our customers get that feature within a quarter. Second, all of our customers operate the exact same version of that software. Now, the side effect is, because it's hosted, we can now measure and monitor effectiveness of those features. We know the features that are being used. We know the features that aren't being used. And then you get into, instead of a vicious cycle, a very virtuous cycle, because we can very, very quickly make changes, measure those changes, very, very quickly make those changes, measure those changes, and move forward. So that the speed in which we can deliver business innovation, technology innovation, and the quality in which we can deliver it is at least an order of magnitude greater than it was ever before. And that's the reason, the number one reason in terms of why cloud, it's all about speed. Allowing you speed to adopt technology change, allowing you speed to have business change, and allowing you speed to be on a product platform delivered by Oracle that is able to keep up with that page, again, not only today, but going forward. And now we're fortunate enough to be in the maturity cycle of the cloud that it's not just a theoretical example, but there's company after company, local companies, global well-known brands, big companies, small companies, across a lot of different industries, across a lot of different product areas, financials, supply chain, HR, and customer experience, who've moved to the cloud. And we have customers from our historical products of PeopleSoft, eBusiness Suite, JD Edwards, and Siebel, but we also have net new organizations moving to the cloud. So this topical point, as far as why cloud, is not only relevant for the theoretical purpose that we talked about, but really relevant and seen in business customers today. So that brings me to a shift. Let me get into a little bit of why Oracle, and I'm going to make a few points as far as why we think we're uniquely situated to help you, our existing customers, or you, a net new customer, unlock these benefits of the speed of the cloud. And we feel very strongly that we have delivered the world's most complete and the world's most innovative set of business applications available to you today, which you can adopt either in whole or in part in different phases as you go along the way, integrating to either Oracle existing on-premise applications, existing third-party applications, or frankly, other cloud vendors should you see that fit. And by completeness of the applications, I'm going to talk about each product family going forward. But what we mean by complete is a complete set of ERP and EPM applications. Core financials, projects, procurement, financial close, consolidation, et cetera, and complete and globalized, taking care of all the local statutory compliance areas that you need for financials around the world. And in fact, now, much more comprehensive, not only in breadth, but in the scope of localizations than our prior offerings of the eBusiness Suite or PeopleSoft combined. Our newest entry into the suite, really a complete set of supply chain and manufacturing areas. Supply chain planning, core manufacturing, order management, product lifecycle management, procurement, deep and rich industry-specific capabilities, again, to manage your global supply chain, blended with some best-in-class new technology, things like IoT, machine learning, and blockchain going forward. So again, all the power that we've had traditionally in the e-business suite and JD Edwards with brand new innovations brought to you by the cloud. In HCM, again, a complete, deep, and functionally complete, as well as local statutory complete, core HR, talent management, including recruiting, workforce rewards, once again, with both new capabilities in terms of mobile user interface, adaptive business intelligence, and AI, as well as some other capabilities around recruiting, which we never had before in our previous offerings. And finally, last but not least, a cohesive integrated set of CX applications, sales, service, marketing, e-commerce, and field service, all integrated in a modern platform to give you the best, most complete view of your customers today and that ability to react to customers tomorrow. So that's the completeness. But I said not only the most complete set of applications, but also the most innovative set of applications. And Loic and several of the other speakers earlier talked about the importance of AI, or what I'll term machine learning. So let me tell you a few examples of how we've taken machine learning very, very pragmatically to change the way our business applications work. And here's some examples. So we're going to take our applications from being rules-driven to being model-driven. So what does that mean? OK, let's take a very simple example. I manage a big group in Oracle. I do lots and lots of approvals. I approve purchase orders, I approve new hires, I approve expense reports, I approve travel authorizations, as many of you probably do in your organization. Now, 99.99% of my approvals that come to me, I approve. And why is that? Well, because if something gets controversial or something's out of line, what usually happens is the approval system doesn't really lend itself to that. Doesn't lend itself to the very back and forth. So usually if there's something that needs to be discussed, it's discussed offline in terms of email. And why is that? Because all of our approval systems are rules-driven. If it has to be a certain amount, it goes up to a certain manager. If it has to be a certain job title for a promotion, it goes to a certain manager or level. Instead, we're changed that to be model-driven. What does that mean? That means by understanding the behavior of the person, we can establish rules, computer-driven rules, on what needs to be seen. So, if you're a certain person in my organization, they may be in the audience, so I won't tell you who, and you travel all the time, and I get an expense report for a hotel bill, I know that's a normal part of your job. I approve that. You may be another person in your organization who never travels, and you may give me the same receipt to the exact same hotel for the exact same amount, and I may send that expense report back to try to figure out why are you traveling, what is the issue here with this expense. Now, there is no way you can today incorporate a rule that says expense reports for this amount, for this purpose, in Steve's group, this one gets approved, this one gets questioned. That's a rules-driven behavior. But by using machine learning and detecting patterns, what gets approved by Steve? What gets approved by Adrian? What gets approved by Loic? And for hires, for purchase orders, for expense reports, for travel, all of a sudden, you don't have to have an IT person configuring specific rules for everybody in the organization, some of which impossible. Use machine learning and AI to give recommendations, and it derives a model-driven behavior. So what happens then? You move from very manual processes to very automated processes. Because when you can't have an exact rule, all those approvals have to come to me. I have to read them all. I have to distinguish which are the ones to approve from which are the ones to take a look at going forward. All of a sudden, when we have a model-driven rules, you can automate a lot of those things out of the transaction. What happens next? You move from a very static system. The system always behaves the same way no matter what, to a very contextual system. If it's a certain time in the quarter, if it's a certain part of the organization, if it's a certain spend, machine learning kicks in, and it makes the system much, much more dynamic and dynamic over change. And finally, we change from user-driven to machine-driven for exceptions. having the machine accommodate to what you're going to do. So I'll give you several more examples throughout the presentation of where we're going to learn. But fundamentally, think about the move and the pervasive use of AI and machine learning. We are turning our applications into applications that accept and validate data. Of course, we'll always do that. But more and more, these are going to be applications which push and recommend what you should be doing in your business. And we're using machine learning pervasively to turn these applications into much more dynamic, much more push elements for you. Now, you're going to see that AI in a couple different flavors. I talked about some of them. The first is brand new applications, which you probably haven't seen before, to do AI. Things like in finance, audit applications or audit recommendations. You can still do your normal audit, but using AI to detect anomalous transactions. Loic mentioned two of them in his presentation. In HR, allowing you recruiting AI to allow you to sort your best candidates. In procurement, an AI application to allow you to try to find out how to deal with supplier negotiations. And in CX or CRM, not only allowing you the content of a message to send to your customers, but how to send it. Do you want to send it via text? Do you want to send it via email? Do you want to send a physical package? But also time of day. Are you more likely to have an email opened if you send it to Steve on Sunday afternoon or on Monday morning? And when you send it to Loic, is it better to send it to him on the Saturday? Except with Loic, it's better to send via SMS, and that gets you better customer engagement. Using AI to dynamically create those rules in AI applications. But probably the most interesting are the last two. Using AI to fundamentally change the way you interact with the applications. Changing, probably eventually eliminating everything you think of today as user interface, and moving the user interface for most common transactions to a digital assistant or conversational bot. If you want to know what somebody's phone number is within your organization, you no longer have to go to what I'll call an old-fashioned HTML screen. You can send an SMS, you can send a WeChat, you can go to Slack, or if you're at home, you can say, "Hi Alexa," or "Hi Google Home, ask Oracle what Loic's phone number is." If you want to do simple HR transactions, what's my vacation balance? Alexa, ask Oracle what's my vacation balance. If you want to do approvals, Alexa, do I have any approvals going forward? Most business transactions, simple inquiries, eliminating the UI, moving towards digital assistant, machine learning driven conversational agents, and I'll get into more of that as well. And if you look at where a lot of the investment at Oracle has been, it's been not only building the core applications, leveraging the machine learning technology for these different use cases, but now investing in data. Consumer data and business data, which you can now use to expand the scope of what that AI can operate on. And our most recent acquisition of DataFox allows core business data in terms of kind of validating the customer name and address, but also major events driven from public information. And this is what powers things like that supplier negotiation or that customer-facing machine learning. The combination of machine learning, data, and business application use cases. So that AI is what you'll see pervasively throughout the applications. I'll get into a few examples going forward. Now, let me get into each product pillar and sort of give you a flavor for what's coming. And when I talk about the speed of innovation, this should give you a sense of what's coming. So we've done quarterly updates for our ERP and EPM cloud over the last 4 quarters. You can see we've done well over 800 new features in 18A, B, C, D. And every subsequent release adding over 100 new features every quarter delivered to our customers. Notably, in ERP, when I talked about the brand new user interface, we've just introduced our digital assistant for expense reporting. So the way this works is you all have this presentation. It'll be over in short order, and then you'll go grab your lunch. You have your receipt for lunch. So in the old days, again, you went to the old-fashioned HTML UI or even the old-fashioned app on your phone. No longer. You can now take a photograph of the receipt. By character recognition or machine learning, we understand if that's a hotel stay, we understand it's a car spend, including Uber, Lyft, or other. We understand it's a meal. Based on the receipt of the meal, we understand the time. So we know if it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We generally speaking, on most receipts, know how many people were there. So we can do like matching your policy. So if you have a lunch limit, where if there's 5, your lunch limit is $10 or $20 per person, that's lunch, how much spent, and you know how many people are there. So you take the photograph, it sends you an SMS back that says, okay, here's what your receipt looks like. You make any edits if necessary, you hit send, and you are done. You've just filed your expense report from a picture to sending it going forward with character recognition, machine learning, policy application, a brand new way of dealing with the application. In addition to that, using AI to drive performance management around process automation and predictive planning. So taking the resource management skills and the project management application we've had, adding AI to it to improve the optimization of that resource utilization. And then a brand new product added to the ERP suite, as many customers have changed from product companies to service companies, more and more we heard the feeling that we need to be able to offer more flexibility on how you charge for products. And we've introduced a brand new application around subscription management, allowing you to track contracts, issue subscription type of products and pricing, track renewals for those, and entitlements for the customers, completely and totally integrated with your core ERP and back office to have that fully functional for you, our customers. Again, speed of innovation, net new features, AI-driven components, and then net new products all in ERP, all updated to you automatically. But without further ado, let me, oops, I got off on slides. Did I skip a slide? Let me introduce Colin Din. Colin's the Senior EVP, CTO, and Head of Operations for Siam Commercial Bank. Hi, Steve. Hey. Thanks for joining us, Colin. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So maybe, I know many of folks in the audience probably are familiar with Siam Commercial Bank, but maybe you can give a flavor, make sure they understand the size and the scope, and then your role at the bank.
Well, Siam Commercial Bank was created about 112 years ago. It was classified as a disruptor bank at the time because it was created as a book club. It was not created as a bank, and it was the role or the view of the king at the time, King Chulalongkorn, that he wanted to disrupt the foreign banks in Thailand by creating a Thai bank. So that was the first disruptor bank that I've ever seen registered. So we've been in, obviously operational in Thailand. We're operational in the Mekong Delta. We're obviously one of the biggest in Thailand, whichever way you measure it. And we provide full service banking.
Okay.
My role is technology.
Technology at the bank. So 112 short years later, you're in the middle of, or the start of, a business transformation. Maybe you can describe to the audience what you're going through at the bank through that transformation.
I think the transformation discussions have been bubbling around for quite some time, but it really hit hard in 2.5 years ago when we decided we needed to move very rapidly. I think a lot of presenters have talked about speed in which change was happening, speed in which our customers were driving what we were doing. And we saw things like digital, the drive towards data. You mentioned AI. We saw the importance of all of those things, but we were not positioned to actually do any of those at that time. So we had to actually do a very dramatic transformation in a very compressed timescale. Why did we do it? Because we see where the world is going. The customers are going to be driving the nature of how we interact with the banks. So our goal is to keep us relevant with our customers, to make sure we understand our customers, not just what products they want, but what they want to do, and therefore how we can support their lifestyles.
Okay. Now, obviously you're here, so you've selected some Oracle Cloud products. Maybe you can give the audience a footprint of what you've selected and what you're in the process of implementing.
The journey with the Oracle started long before I joined. And it was quite interesting. When I joined, they were debating between Oracle on cloud and Oracle on-prem. That was the whole debate. I was focused on digital, so I left the debate going for quite some time. But when I came back and centered it, I kept asking the team, what's the best capability? And it was cloud. By far more superior, by far more functionally rich, more capable. And so the reluctance was always this issue around cloud. And so we had a long debate, and we started to talk to them about what they wanted to do, where they were going. And it was pretty clear to me that at the time, they still don't know. They still have got a level of realization. I think that's in everything that we're doing right now. You start a journey, but you don't know where it's going to end. And it's an evolution. So what we looked at was, and we convinced the team to go cloud, was because they're going to have a capability which is going to be not just an implementation of a system, but an implementation of a new business capability. And that's what we were really driving to. It's a new business process, a new interaction in the way in which we ran our financial planning in relation to our budget planning and all of those things.
So a little bit of what everybody on the panel has been talking about today. We talked about speed of innovation, you talk about business process change, and you specifically have done it for what I would consider the back office for the banks, kind of EPM consolidations as well as a core GL, the importance of the GL to the bank.
Yeah. Believe me, everyone was nervous moving a GL, but it was very, very fast.
Great. A mission-critical system for the bank to GL, yes, the nervousness.
It's absolutely, that's one of the things that I think was drawing out the discussion debate, because it is such a mission-critical environment. Everyone was saying, well, how can we de-risk it? How can we make sure? How can we be absolutely certain? But in the end, we went with a different mindset. We went with the mindset that we were going to do this quickly. As I say, we've done a vast transformation in 2.5 years. So everything we do is quick. But we always recognize that we learn lessons very quickly. And if we find issues, we address them together with our partners in the delivery. So the thing that we looked at with this was not looking at a system implementation, which is move what we do today to tomorrow, but take the capability of Oracle Cloud and then reimagine how we wanted to run our business. So we did a significant restructuring about how we do our budget planning, how we do our financial planning, and we were enabled to do so because of the functions in Oracle.
Okay, so hopefully at par or better than what we've had traditionally on-premise, mission-critical system, but really enabling business change and setting you up for the future.
It obviously sets us up for the future, but I think there's one point I missed. We did all this in 7 months.
Okay.
So my view was we have to do it. We have to plan differently. We think differently.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much, Colin. I appreciate it.
Okay. Cheers, man.
Major bank, core system, greater capability than what we had before, but the key important thing there is enabled for technology necessary today, and frankly, ready for what neither Colin nor I know what's coming tomorrow. 7 months going forward. Next, let me drill down the supply chain. And you're here going to start to speed up a little bit because you see a recurring theme. Again, every quarter, 150, 300, 190, 280 new feature functions enabled in the product. Both feature functions within field service, project-driven manufacturing, but also brand new applications in the suite like IoT. And in IoT specifically, new applications for asset monitoring to manage the assets you're producing, production monitoring, fleet monitoring to do predictive maintenance, as was discussed by Deloitte just before me, the connected worker to actually manage and monitor your workforce both within the factories and outside the factories, and then monitoring service on the products. So fully enabled IoT, ingesting information from sensors, using machine learning to do predictive of maintenance or predictions of quality. And then in this conference, we're introducing a brand new set of blockchain applications, this trusted network applications to enable you throughout your supply chain for track and trace, lot and lineage, and other blockchain uses, both within your organization, but also throughout your trading community organization in supply chain. Again, deep and rich functional areas beyond what we've had in our traditional applications. But enough of me talking about it. Let me now welcome on stage David Tay. David is the CIO of Bionics to talk a little bit about what they're doing with their applications. Hey, David, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, David.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So again, I think many of the audience may not recognize the brand, although they may use a lot of the products that you produce. So could you give them a flavor of what Bionics does and then your role within the organization?
Yeah, okay. Bionics, we started 1981, so that makes us like a 40-year-old company. We started with precision part manufacturing, and we offered an integrated service line, which means that you could get your plastic injection molding, you could get your printed circuit board, you could get metal stamping, you could assembly, you could even have aluminum die casting, and you can all this integrated into a complete parts assembly for you, built, customized for you. And then in 2014, we merged with Chosen to become a leading precision engineering company in Asia Pacific. Yeah, my role in the company is both on the business side as well as the technology side. The business side would be when we did the M&A, I had three financial systems that I have to integrate into one. Right. I have 4 factories with a total of 1.2 million square feet of factory space where I'm supposed to implement, adopt Industry 4.0 and all the IoT stuff that you presented.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, yours is a little bit different than Colin's example, but another typical thing that we hear, because of the M&A and the growth that way, you had this pressure on integrating the systems. Could you talk a little bit about your business pressures from that integration? Yeah,
when I guess in every M&A, when two companies come together, you know, the formula is always 1 + 1 is more than 2, right? But the reality is in every change is always a J curve, right? You actually get worse before it actually gets better. Yeah, so the challenge then was, how do you get, you know, 2 companies with 3 financial systems to merge them into one so that you have a coherent set of financial data that allow business decision to move forward. Right. Yeah, so that's the big challenge.
That was your big business driver, efficiency across the different organizations.
Correct.
Now, why was cloud important in that thinking as you started to move to that combined organization?
You know, I think all of us has the experience to say when the boss wanted something, they want it yesterday, right?
Speed again.
Yeah. Again, it's coming from the angle of speed. So the question is, do we then build a new infrastructure? Do we build a new application? Right. But in today's context, it's not about building, it's not about having the infrastructure. It's about what you do with the application and what value do you derive out of the application. Right. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to have a humongous and the best data center when you're not deriving the value out of it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's really allowing you to focus on what you do best and leveraging what Oracle does best.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Now, I said at the beginning, there's different ways to adopt the application. Colin started off with a very specific general ledger, EPM, maybe expand, but really it's that key function. You've taken a slightly different approach. You're looking at it more of a big bang.
Yeah.
Finance, HR, CRM, supply chain. Can you maybe give a flavor of to the audience, you're thinking around doing a more comprehensive suite of applications?
Okay. I think within a company, right, what we wanted to do is to get from sales to AR payment. Yeah. I think that's what we wanted to do, right, in every business. So we wanted an integrated suite of application. Currently, we run separate. I mean, we have EBS that we run for 12 years that was serving us very well. And then we have a separate CRM application, we have a separate payroll system, and so on. And we understand the value in today's context where speed, you know, is either disrupt or be disrupted. Yep. You know, so we don't want to spend our time fiddling with how this system works with that system, how the data from here get over there, and so on. So we're looking at a system that is seamless, a system that could take us, like I say, from sales to payment without having to worry about the nitty-gritty. Yeah, and we also want something that is implemented fast.
Yeah.
You know, so we're using your Oracle soar to the cloud because we know the methodology is proven, the methodology is there. It doesn't make sense to try and reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and I'll talk more about SOAR in just a moment. Now, how are we doing so far? So you got this broad implementation, many different companies put them together. Can you give the audience a flavor for how far through the journey you are and then what the benefits you expect coming forward?
Yeah, we started September. Actually, we started the evaluation of Oracle back in 2017. So it took us a while. And it was only in 2018 that we make a decision after all the multiple evaluation.
Yep.
So we started the project implementation migration in September. We're a little bit more than them. The first go live is going to be like 1st of June of this year for Singapore. 2 months later, you'll be Malaysia, and then 2 months later, it's going to be in China. Yeah. So far, the project team has a good handle on the project. They have kept it on time. There will still be changes, and there are changes even as we're talking about it now. Yeah, but we put a handle on it, and we're getting there.
Okay.
Right?
And the business benefits you hope to achieve from it?
It is always about being easier, better, faster, and cheaper.
Okay.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah. You know, we say a salesman's dream is to sell twice the value and half the price.
Yes.
Right. So we want to get to the cheaper part. Okay. Yeah. So the benefit that we're looking at is to say, how do we make business decision a lot faster, a lot better? Yep. And we're looking at the analytics, we're looking at the BI portion, because we cannot take ERP as a after the fact managing the business. Right. Like we say, we have to be proactive. You know, we can even have to be predictive about the decision we make. So getting the system to give us all the necessary information to make the decision to increase revenue, reduce costs, that's definitely number one, right? Number two, going to the cloud allow us to simplify our process across the entire region. Yep. You know, coming from 2 different companies, 4 different countries, harmonizing the process is a huge challenge. So moving to the cloud allow us to standardize and harmonize that. Yeah. And moving on the cloud also allow us to improve the user experience. Yeah. We don't have to go to our workstation, log on. We could have it anywhere, anytime, on any device. Right. And that's what some of the business users say. That's what they need to make decision on the spot. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. So again, I think you can take some of the highlights of, just to reiterate what David said, made a decision in September, first go live in June, so 9 months. Colin talked about a 7-month implementation, speed, and then now that they're on the platform, getting constant innovation at a fast speed. Let me cover the last couple areas then, and again, I'll just focus on just the highlights. Once again, the theme you'll see across HR, hundreds of capabilities added every quarter automatically to 100% of our customers. In HR, we've had the most significant uptake of the user interface. Everything now enabled mobilely via the mobile browser in a responsive UI. The exact same capability you see in the broader web browser, 100% enabled on tablet form factor or on phone form factor. In addition to that, having a brand new design studio, which really allows you to configure the application to your business rules much more flexibly than you ever had before, so you only display to your end users what your particular business process or business rules are for your company going forward. Moving forward to CX and customer experience, again, hundreds of features added every quarter for sales, service, marketing, and in CX, we have probably the heaviest investment of our digital assistant capability or machine learning. So this is bot capability not only for service areas where you can log on now and ask questions, get automated answers via bots, but also using machine learning to work pervasively across what we're calling CX Unity. So combining your customer data, external customer data from our sources, as well as online data from cookies and other sources to allow you to better target and to better, more accurately reach your customers. Again, not only in terms of which customers to reach, what channels to reach them, what times to reach them in the particular channels, and then iterate based on that. So if you learn through machine learning that a given customer responds better to certain messages, to certain channels, by channels I mean email or text or other, then you can nurture those customers along the line through the sales, service, and marketing and make all of that data visible to all of your employees across the board. Then you could put analytics on top of that CX data to really get to David's point, allowing you to sell more at a lower cost to each and every one of your customers. And we're seeing tremendous uptake and tremendous benefit across the CX suite of applications. Now, even though we have all those features within the context of our apps, a common question I get is, okay, but I'm on-premise and I have some customization or some third-party application. And what Oracle brings uniquely is we have a platform as a service which you can use to extend your application. So while it's true that in SaaS you can't customize the app, meaning you can't change our code and preclude us from doing the updates, you can extend that. And those extensions are protected against upgrade. And we allow you to extend those applications with a fully feature-rich platform as a service, which includes integration capabilities for connections and integrations, UI capabilities in Java and other to build your apps, business process applications, BI applications, and mobile applications. So if you have an extension application you need to build on top of our SaaS set of products, our platform as a service is a tremendous spot for you to leverage and get that area going forward. And finally, probably the biggest area of investment out of everything, when Loic talked about that $5 billion, Oracle ourselves, we are moving from a product company to a service company. And we need to make this experience for you running our systems in our cloud better and better and better. So we've redoubled our efforts into improving the integrations, reducing downtime to a zero downtime update. So when you get these features, you're not disrupted. Having predictable updates. So we have quarter releases that come out the same time every quarter, combined with some flexibility on how you can choose when to take those updates. And every feature I talked about is an opt-in feature. So when we issue the update and you press that button, you update from 19A to 19B, the system works identically to the way it did before you pressed a button. It's only when you adopt the business process change and enable those features that those features come to life. Combining to you the least disruption or keeping your business running with allowing you to have that rapid innovation change. And so a huge focus on our development effort is on improving this experience from the services perspective in combination to the product perspective I talked about. So I've talked about a little bit on why cloud, talked through why we feel Oracle is the best solution for you, and hopefully you've heard from our customers. I just gave you a sampling from two, and I want to thank Colin and David again for joining me. Now let's talk about the why now. The first component of the why now is a little bit what David mentioned. So we very recently introduced our SOAR program, which is a methodology that Oracle Consulting and now some of our partner organizations have to make this the last upgrade you will ever do. It's a pre-packaged set of utilities which give you predictability of moving from eBusiness Suite or PeopleSoft or Siebel to our corresponding cloud applications, allowing you with a certain amount of integrations, a certain amount of extensions, a certain amount of reports added to it to give you more precision on the cost it will take to move to the cloud, the time it will take you to move to the cloud, along with references who do this in rapid fashion, like the two I spoke to today, and give you some certainty that at the end of the cloud journey, you will have improved your business processes along the line that was discussed by our two customers. So our SOAR, and then once you've done that, you're into the cloud, and after that, you never have to worry about an upgrade ever again. We take care of the quarterly updates, and it just moves forward and the innovation seamlessly to you. The second reason why we have why now is we knew going in that from having built the applications before, eBusiness Suite, PeopleSoft, Siebel, et cetera, We had the expertise and knew we had the depth of the capabilities to run your business. But now we have, just like David and Colin, many, many examples going forward, including Oracle ourselves. So at Oracle, we run the entirety of our business against a single cloud instance globally. And it is the same software that all of our customers run. It is in the same North America data center that all of the North America customers run. And to give you a little perspective on what it means for Oracle to run the business, we have just north of 140,000 employees in basically every country in the world. We run our HR internally. We have a host of salespeople with different sales plans and organizations all around the world. We run all of our CRM locally. We market to all of you in multiple channels. We run all of our sales service marketing globally, the same instance. And Oracle, we are a traditional software company, so that's a sell license. We are a subscription software company, talking about that subscription billing that I talked about before. We are a hardware company, and actually we are a hardware company in things you might think of Oracle, like Exadata, kind of build to order large machines. But we also are a hardware company with much more commodity hardware. Our Micros point of sale machines, kind of build to stock areas. And with our Oracle consulting business, we are a very large professional services organization. And basically, we operate in every country around the world. And we run it at about $40 billion. All of those line of businesses, all of those employees, all of that global presence managed across the cloud on the exact same piece of software with the exact same updates in the exact same data center with all the security as all of our customers. To give you a sense of, can you run your business, our level of confidence, because we run our own business across the board on our own suite of applications. So, to conclude, hopefully you get a sense of not just why cloud, it's not just hosting, but we see cloud as a big business benefit, helping you drive speed, either enabling you to beat a disruptor, helping you prevent from being disrupted, or allowing you flexibility to react to change today and going forward. With Oracle, we feel that we unquestionably have the most comprehensive suite of applications, whether we want to use those in part, starting with a general ledger like Colin, or whether your ambition is to have the complete suite of applications, as David described, enabling you to be able to do that with deep and rich functionality, but also injecting that functionality with machine learning and innovation constantly. And while I'm talking a lot about machine learning today, in 2 years I'll be talking about something else, and that assurance for technology going forward. And why today? A, together ourselves and our partners, the certainty of how to get you to the cloud with proven references, and B, enough customers in your region, of your size, in your industry, to show you actual business benefits with some confidence that we could run your business. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the conference.